Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Today is Monday, November 17th, 2025. It is, the month is rolling by. Rolling by. It's already the 17th of November. It seemed like just 2 weeks ago we were saying it's the beginning of November. Oh, wait, we were. Okay, a couple things to. It looked like a kind of strange color. Oh, that's why. There we go. So today is Monday. This is day one of week 3, outside my skull-sized kingdom. And the theme of today is what's outside my skull-sized kingdom. So we're going to be talking about that. Also want to say this was on Saturday, went very well. Oops, a good time had by all. 70 people showed up for breakfast between 8 and 10. Good system. I'll do it that way. Good system. Yeah, thumbs in. And the next one is on February 14th, 2026, the second Saturday of the second month of the of the second month of the quarter. So it's 2/2, second week of the second week of the second month of the quarter. So that would be February, and then May, then August and November. Second weekend, second Saturday of the second month of each quarter. Good. Yesterday I was at church in Tacoma, but again, week 3, day 1. This is week 3, day 1 of our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. As opposed to what? Well, as opposed to a, let's say, a commerce, a business approach to success, as opposed to a psychological approach to success, as opposed to a spiritual approach to success, as opposed to a meteorological or astrological approach to success. Many approaches to success. Also, we are on birth watch for daughter Lucy, daughter number 4. So far, daughter number 4, Lucy. Birth watch could be any day, goes to the hospital to give birth to Henry Roy Alvarez. So that's good. What else? Well, let's get into it. So this week is called Outside My Skull-Sized Kingdom. In our neuroscience-oriented approach to success, our goal is to understand how does the brain work on a cellular and subcellular level. Not how does it work like this, but how does it work drilling down, 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 down. The cells that we are most concerned about, well, we're only concerned about, not that there aren't other cells or other important cells, we're only concerned with neurons, as Yuval Harari calls them, with neurons. And it turns out the human brain has about 86 billion neurons. And every neuron has about 10,000 connections to other neurons. So that's a big number. What is that number? Well, 86 billion times 1,000 is 86 trillion, but it's times 10,000. So we add another one on. So that would be 860 trillion connections. And there's many more times that combinations of how things work. But 860 trillion connections versus the worm C. elegans, which has 7,000 connections. That is the connectome that we learned about last Monday. I am my connectome. I am the result of all of the connections in my skull. in my brain. This week, it is, well, the idea being last week we learned how our brain works from a perspective of neurons. What are they? What's on them? Number two, we learned about neurotransmitters, chemicals released in our brains that create our feelings, and our feelings affect our behavior, and our behavior affects the outcome. So, for example, I will be picking Matt up at about before 8:15. He needs sometime between 8 and 8:15. I will be picking Matt up to take him to court today. Right, Matt? Then I will be delivering food. Then I will come back to court with Matt. And if it's like last time, what's going to happen is it'll be around noon before Matt gets to have his day of justice, where he gets to argue his case. Yeah, so that's it. Day 1, week 3, outside my skull-sized kingdom. So their main slogan with outside our skull-sized kingdom is, now that I know how my brain works inside my skull-sized kingdom, I know how other people's brain works. So when I peer out from my skull-sized kingdom, I see other people out there who think the world revolves around them. So Matticus von Atticus, Untersergeant Ordinaire, thinks the world revolves around him. But I know it revolves around me, because that is my orientation that I am born with. But he thinks it revolves around him. Well, I know how my brain works, so I know how his brain works. And if I know how his brain works, I know that there are certain little triggers that will release neurotransmitters in his brain, which will cause him to feel a certain way, and that will impact his behavior, and will impact the outcome. And the outcome will tend to support his beliefs. My goal is to look for people who I can bond with to help me on my journey through this adventure of life. That's it, because I can't do it alone. I cannot do it alone. I need to get other people to help me on my journey through this life. And the easiest way to do that is to know what motivates them, what demotivates them, what they're interested in. And the easiest way to know that is to know how my brain works, because his brain works the same way, fundamentally. What's stored in his neurons is very different in a lot of ways than what's stored in my neurons, but it's more the same than it is different, because otherwise we couldn't communicate. We wouldn't know what the other person was talking about, even if we're using the same language. And yeah, that's it. So we'll talk more about that later. Let's look at our worksheet. Advice from an 80-year-old. Advice from an 80-year-old. Count your blessings. Right. Mostly what we do is look at the negative. We got to look on the bright side of life. Monty Python. Always look on the bright side. Count your blessings. It could be worse. If you have the ability to watch this video, that means your life could be a lot worse than it is. That it's actually not that bad. Those are high-class problems that we have. People that don't have the ability to watch this video probably have low-class problems. Really more survival level than preference level problems. Okay, so always count your blessings. Count your blessings. Okay, Simon Seth Godin, caveman economics. Caveman economics. I wonder what that means. Marshall Salins and others, Marshall Salins and others showed that early hunter-gatherer societies generally didn't work very hard. 2 or 3 hours a day were spent gathering food, and the rest of the time was for social engagement and family, and probably preparing the food also. With all the technology and innovation that has followed, why do we work 4 times as hard? One reason is leverage. The tools we have offer apparently bigger prizes in exchange for the next unit of incremental labor. There wasn't a point in working harder to get more berries because you already had enough berries. Right. If you get too many berries, you waste them or they get spoiled. And the second reason is that the systems that created our culture have their own needs in mind. Landlords don't provide housing as a public service. They do it to make a profit. And the wedding industrial complex makes happy brides as a byproduct of making a profit. They're the side effect, not the point. Systems use status and affiliation within culture to motivate individuals to play along. When it's working as we hope, the system of systems produces possibility, civility, and achievement. It increases health, connection, and even joy. But no one is in charge of these systems, and especially as they become concentrated and powerful, they often fail to produce the outcomes we might be hoping for. Many are intransigent and sticky, and they work hard to remain invisible. When we see the systems, we have a chance to do something about them. The hard part is organizing the community to push back before the new normal becomes permanent. Okay, I have no idea what that one's about, but I know it's good because it's from Seth Godin. That's one of those ones you gotta sit, ponder, think, review, etc., go through it slowly or do it again because I know it's important. I know that because it's by Seth Godin. Okay. So, what else we have on our hit parade? Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy is a good one. The dark side of, it's called The Dark Side of Servant Leadership. Right. What's the dark side of servant leadership? Well, the dark side is the business fails. That's the dark side. And he gave many examples of the first thing you got to do is you got to make sure that the business is growing and it's stable and you put down competitive threats. Because what are they trying to do? They're trying to take your customers, take your business, take what you've got. Nothing personal. It's just that's how business is. And in this talk, Darren Hardy points out many examples of businesses that put the desires, notice I say desires, not needs, put the desires of the employees, of the culture first before winning the game, the infinite game, as Simon Sinek calls it, before that, and then they start losing the game, and then they have to do things that are even more drastic in order to survive, because otherwise everybody gets wiped out. So his summary is servant leadership is about doing the hard things so that everybody survives versus the nice things, to put people first and the business second. Flux capacitor issue. Okay, what else we got for today? Okay, let's talk about tribal leadership. David Logan, who I've had the pleasure and privilege to communicate with by email several years ago when we included him, and he gave me a little bit more insight into this talk than I had before. What does that mean? Okay. So David Logan starts, okay, so this week, what are we trying to do? We're trying to figure out how to get people to help us because we can't do it alone. And so we're going to look at 5 people this week. Number 1 is David Logan, talking about this concept of a reframing, a mindset that we're all part of tribes. We're not just individuals roaming around out there that have preferences. We group together in what he calls tribes, people that have similar things in common, people like us who do things like that, as Seth Godin says. And so he didn't only say, notice, yeah, we form tribes. There are Raiders fans, there's A's fans, there's whatever, sports teams fans, there's church fans, there's school fans. We're all part of teams. Your preference on a subject. What's your favorite tennis shoe? Oh, okay, so you're part of that tribe. What's your favorite computer? What's your favorite phone? What's your favorite this? What's your favorite? Who do you prefer for AI? We're part of tribes. That's what we do. As he says, birds fly, fish swim, people form tribes. We're social animals. Cool, good. That's the place to start looking for people who are going to help you on your journey. So David Logan says, join a tribe, nudge it forward. So you want people to help you in life, join a tribe, nudge it forward. And if you deconstruct that, if you break that down and you say, okay, join a tribe, okay, get in a group of people that are like me. Could be an AA group, could be at the, the one step, first step club, whatever it's called. It could be there. Start going there. Join a tribe. Get so people know you. And then you do a bunch of things. And then eventually, when you want to get to getting people to help you, you nudge it forward. And what is nudging? Would this be an example of nudging? No. Would this be an example? Come on, let's go. No. No. Pushing, right? Would this be an example of nudging? No, that's pulling. So what's an example of nudging? Bonk, bonk, hey, homie, let's go. That's an example of nudging. Or come on, let's go. That's an example of nudging. Gently or firmly, non-offensively, getting people to come with you, maybe voluntarily coming with you. Join a tribe, get with people like you, nudge it forward. Don't just sit home by yourself, watching YouTube videos, thinking about what you're going to do, talking to a person on the phone. Don't just do that. It'd be better to do a Zoom call with 5 people. Don't do that. Go out, join a tribe, be with other people. This is David Logan. Join a tribe, nudge it forward. Now, what's a tribe? So not only that, okay, so the next thing he did is they looked at tribes and they said, what are the common characteristics of tribes? And he identified that there are 5 stages of tribes. Tribes are all natural distributions, like a bell curve. Some are more like this and others are more like that. Or they're very much like this and somewhat like that and mostly like that. He noticed that, and he and his team broke it down into 5 separate groups of tribes that blend into one another as a series of normal distribution, bell curves, or it could be like a wave. Stage 1, life sucks. Stage 2, my life sucks. Stage 3, I'm great, you're not. Stage 4, we're great. Stage 5, life's great. So we go from life sucks to life is great. Each of these, according to Dave Logan, represent about 2% of the population. So we're going to throw those out. But we're going to say life sucks is characterized by people who go shoot up movie theaters or things like that. Schools, Their attitude is, hey, life sucks. Everything is permissible because what? Because life sucks. I don't have any remorse. I don't have any guilt. I don't have anything because life sucks. It's not me. It's life sucks. Okay. Stage 2, my life sucks. And the other side of that is life's great. So my life sucks is mostly the people we deal with. Most of the people in our universe are people, my life sucks, punching up to almost I'm great, you're not. But when they get to that stage, we get left behind because that's our focus isn't helping people who say I'm great, you're not. Our focus is taking people from my life sucks to that third. So my life sucks. The good news about that is I realize it's not life that sucks, it's my life that sucks. So there is the opportunity, there's the possibility that my life can get better. There might be just a little spark of hope, a little smoldering ember of hope. But I see we're out of time. Rats. So, stage 2, my life sucks. Stage 3, I'm great, you're not. Those are people who have jobs that are thinking about keeping up with the Joneses. How do I get a new car? I need to do this. I need to go here. This is the cool thing. I need to be this because I'm great and you're not. I'm always comparing myself to other people. I compare my house, my car, my clothes, where I go to church, where I work, where I eat. All the things I do, I'm comparing them to other people. And my general orientation is I'm great, you are not. The things I do are better than what you do. I'm finding fault in you and I'm supporting my internal belief that I'm great and you're not. That's who advertisers go after. Those people, because they know the fundamental pitch is, hey, if you want to be a player, here's what you have to have. To be a player, here's what you need to do. Other people, well, no, not other people. Otherwise, you're a poser. You want to be a player or a poser? If you want to be a player, this is what you need to do. You want to be a poser, do what you're doing. Transcend yourself from poser to player, because this is what players do. Okay, that we're going to say and cut. We'll clean it up in editing.